welcome once again to EWTN's Bookmark. I'm Doug Keck, your host. A very special bookmark talking about a game. This is Jacek and Eva Malkowski. On the road to Bethlehem, it's called a tabletop game, and we're going to talk all about it. It's available through Amazon, amazon.com. Welcome, Jacek, to EWTN's Bookmark.
Hello.
And also Eva.
Hello.
Thank you so much for
nice
both coming here. Now, you've
you.
come a fair distance to be here. Where are you originally from, and where are you actually still from?
Yeah, we are from Poland. We live in Warsaw, and we were born in Warsaw too.
Right. Now, the idea for this kind of a tabletop game, let's explain to our audience, what is a tabletop game? It's not a board game, so it's something different. What is it?
Yeah, the tabletop means that is a game that is spread over the top of the table. It's simple to say, but this game is not a regular tabletop game. It's not a board game, in fact, because it was invented for a very special purpose, to help the families. So this is first of its kind, in fact. Sometimes you stay by the table, but when playing this game, you are quite regular off the table.
Right, so you're actually some amount of role playing that goes into what's actually going on, right?
We will explain this later, because there are it's some elements origins from the role playing games, but it's more than like a real playing game.
Right, okay. I get it.
It's the next step.
Now, the two of you actually created this, right? And so my impression is that you were kind of the brains behind it, and then Eva was kind of the heart behind it. So when he first told you, hey, I've got this idea, Eva, for this particular game, what did you think?
I thought that it was a brilliant idea because, you know, we created the road to Bethlehem, first of all, for us, I mean me and Jacek, and for our family, for our kids. We are parents of three. And we need it exactly.
This kind of thing, you felt there was a need. What was the need, Jacek, you were thinking of when you developed this game, which took you a couple of years actually to put together, and basically something you were working on the side? What was the goal you were trying to achieve?
That's the very good question, because when firstly I speak about the game to someone, a lot of people thinks, what, another game? There are so much games around us, it's not good. But this is a very special game, because this game was designed to reunite families. In fact, this is anti-computer game. That means that it arose from the challenges we saw in our own families. There are several, most important of them. The first one is difficulties with the world surrounding our family that distracts our kids and even the parents from the faith.
The culture, the technology, that kind of invasiveness that you get from everybody's on their cell phone or something like that.
It might be helpful, but it's not for the family right now. The people are distracted from themselves, from the family. So it's very common to see that the family is in one apartment, but everyone is in their own world with these mobiles, with computers. And we would like to address this challenge to reunite family, to spend time together in a meaningful and really fun way. And this is just the first problem. There are several of them that are addressed through our tool.
Now, who came up with the idea of it being the road to Bethlehem? Was that always the idea from the beginning, or was the concept behind the game decided and then somebody decided, let's focus on Bethlehem?
Let me tell you a little story, okay? Once upon a time, in a land far, far away, in Poland precisely, there was a mother and a father. They were parents of three, Basia, Zuzia, and Jaś. They wanted so much to show them how beautiful and full of joy our faith is. So they took all their skills as a mother, as a father, as a husband, as a wife, all the good emotions and all their love to our Lord, and put into this beautiful box, and they name it the Road to Bethlehem.
Because the road to Bethlehem means that you follow some kind of a trail closing to our Lord, to the Jesus. And this travel, this journey is really filled with adventures, with emotions. But the emotions stays where the gods want them. So they are here not just to be emotional, but to create bonds, to create relations within the family. And yes, so this is the road by big R. This is the road to Bethlehem, which means that this road means it's you who travel,
Right.
and this is your real personal experience. For some people, it may be just a game, but being a game is just merely a vessel for something much more substantial.
Right. And it's beautifully put together, and there's this beautiful book of adventures that
right.
comes with it.
Yeah.
It's beautifully illustrated.
It's the heart of the game, in
Right.
fact.
And one of the things, and I was thinking about, so who actually sat down and put together the actual book instructions? You did not?
It was my experience
Yes.
from the as I was teenager. I was a role-playing game master.
Okay, so.
And I've been a role-playing game master for about 15 years. And it gave me a lot of experience, and it
Were
was...
those usually with computer games, or
No.
were those actually
No.
with
It
the
was
same
a
kind
storytelling.
Okay.
And this is the fading skill
I see.
today. But this is the really fantastic way to reconnect with the family about the
Right.
storytelling.
Right.
But a lot of people today doesn't know how to tell stories.
Right.
And the Book of Adventures do it for themselves.
Right.
Because they just need to read the story, and they are now storytelling it to their families.
Right. Now, in the very beginning here, it says, Dear Game Master, there's a whole description. It says, reaching the final destination in every game isn't the goal.
Yeah, that's right.
Then what's the goal?
The goal is to experience as much meaningful adventures and emotions together that the real relations will be built within the family, maybe to say rebuilt. Of course, we encourage everybody to find the manger in time and space. Of course, this is the ultimate goal, but we need to be well prepared to meet them.
Right.
And this is the journey, what it's all about the preparing ourselves.
Right. Let me ask you, Eva, as far as the stories that show up here and the particular decision points people have to make, and we'll
Yes.
give an example to give people an idea, and we're also going to show a video of how the game actually works, so that'll help people right after we talk about this. In this one right at the beginning, Balsamon Barakabal, and it's the idea that there's a merchant there, and you start the game and you come upon this merchant, and he's offering these different things for sale. And then, and I guess this is kind of an example, from my understanding of how the game would kind of work, you're kind of left with a series of options, right?
Yes, that's
one,
right.
One would say, we don't want anything, we keep going. Or let's have a look at his stall. Another one is, let's buy something, it might come in handy.
Yeah.
Or maybe he's got something worthy of the Holy Family.
Yeah.
So does each individual who's playing the game get to make their own decision about that?
Yes, that's right, from at the beginning, but then all team should
Pick one answer.
pick one,
I see,
pick
okay.
one answer.
Because
So are you playing all together then?
Yes.
So
This
it's a
is
all the
team in a
time.
sense. It's
This
not
is-
just you're competing inside the family one.
this
Yes.
is another
Okay.
this is another issue we would like to address. There is most of the games are based on a rivalry. Not everyone,
Right,
but
right.
most of them.
Right, okay.
And that leads to really fighting between even kids.
Right, right.
We saw it.
Right.
This game is built on cooperation as we saw it in the New Testament.
Right.
We are encouraged to cooperate, to support each other. There is only one kind of rivalry in this game. This is rivalry against yourself.
Okay. Right, Julie, you're challenging yourself and overcoming your own issues. And why don't we take a look at what the video that you had put together, it's on your website. We'll just take a look at that quick and give people a better idea of exactly what we're talking about. Okay, let's have a look.
I put 2 years of work into creating the road to Bethlehem. It's based on my experience, which I call 3 times 15. 15 years of being a father, 15 years of being a business trainer, and 15 years of being a role-play game master. It was already played and enjoyed by many families in Poland and in the United States.
The Road to Bethlehem is a fun and engaging game for up to 12 players of all ages. It is collaborative, it feels like role-playing games, but you don't play a role, you play as you. And you don't just use your mind or follow instructions from the beautiful book of adventures, as it incorporates various challenges which test the player's wit, dexterity and keen eye, and make playing it so exciting. Not just the emotions are real, this is a completely new way to play. It also weaves in seamlessly biblical characters and real-life moral dilemmas. It helps us learn about how to make the right decisions and how to work together to achieve the ultimate goal, meeting the one born in Bethlehem.
If you want just a game, you have countless choices. But the road to Bethlehem is much more than just a game. It's a cause to help unite families, to learn about ourselves and about our beautiful faith.
Hopefully that helps everybody get an idea of kind of what the game looks like in action and how much there's no board, but it's not boring, that's for sure. There's a lot going on there.
It can't be.
There's
It
a lot
wouldn't
going on there.
attract kids and teenagers.
And it really, and it's also a certain physicality to it,
Yes,
too.
that's right.
It's in accordance with teachings of John Paul II about the integrity of personal development.
I see, okay.
It's body, mind, and spirit.
Right.
So in this game, I've invented, especially for this game, and this is the first time ever, some kind of that kind of system was created about the challenges of body, mind, and spirit.
Right.
I would like to tell you perhaps about one challenge concerning our middle daughter, Zuzia. It was one of the first gameplay. It was sandstorm. The situation of the team was as follows. The team is running because just behind them the gigantic sandstorm is
It's approaching.
It's approaching,
Right.
them. So they are running, and suddenly they are running into someone. It's an old man. And they had make a decision. What shall we do? We
can leave him.
Yes, we can leave him, or perhaps
We can try to understand him, or we can drag him by force in a search of a cave.
Yes.
Because this is not a very simple choice, because this man is quite rude.
Yes.
He uses
Yes.
his lash at the team, so sometimes people don't want to help them. Wow, he doesn't want our help, and he's very hostile.
In that case, Zuzia's team made a choice that they helped him against his will, you know. And after the sandstorm ended, this old man left the team.
In despair, he was crying.
In despair, he was crying, said no word. And our daughter from 3 days, for 3 days later, she asked me several times, Mama.
She was so moved.
Mama, she was very moved. Mama, why he did something like this? We just saved his life. And he said no word, no thank you, no God bless you. It was a really moral dilemma for her, and it's in my point of view excellent position as
For a parent. To explain.
Yes, to
Not
explain.
just to lecture.
Not
a real
to
teaching moment,
Yes.
as
Yeah.
they talk about, right? The idea that she was dealing with this and trying to work through herself
Yes.
and give an
Asking us.
opportunity, right?
Yes.
We don't stand in front of her and lecturing her about the moral dilemmas. She was so moved. It was so personal experience for her that she came to ask my wife several times, how is that possible? And
Right.
this was the first moment that we saw that this device works.
Yes, I told her that yes, we help this man, but perhaps we
Could do it better.
could do it better.
Right.
So it's about a real moral
Right.
dilemma.
Well, let me ask you, in each of those kind of situations, like the one we saw in the game and also the one I just listed about stopping to see what the merchant had or didn't stopping, is there a right and a wrong answer?
It's just like
We
in
tried
a
to-
real life,
Yeah.
you know. But all mechanism, our game is absolutely built on.
It's rooted in the
Catholic regals.
Catholic vision of the moral dilemmas, in Catholic values. So, of course, there are, in this game, there are choices and there are consequences.
Right.
The consequences are aligned with Catholic moral values. So you may choose wrong, and there will be consequences. You may choose better, and there will be another consequences.
Okay.
Yes.
They might be very inconvenient for you,
Right.
but from the moral point of view,
Right.
you may be a victor.
Right. Well, it's interesting because you're marrying those two things together, which in today's society we like to separate, which is the fact that I like to make my choices, but I don't like any of the downside of those particular choices.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
right.
And also, like you indicated, that someone would look on the surface and say, well, this is the right choice, but then something happens that doesn't make sense to me. Why would it turn out that way? Because again, some of the choices that we make today are based upon what society leads us to think is the right way to approach something, as opposed to maybe what our faith would say about that same moral situation,
Yeah.
Yes,
right?
that's right.
You know, all this game is about reconnecting, and there are several levels of reconnecting. This is reconnecting with the family. You know, unplug from the computers, from the mobiles. We are reconnected. We are having fun. We are together. But then there are deeper layers of this reconnection. It reconnects you with the Catholic values, but not through lecturing you,
Right.
but it allows you to experience
Right.
the wide variety of the possible outcomes
Right,
of every situation.
which is the way that most people can inculcate things the best their way,
Yeah.
is from when they go through it themselves and say,
Yeah.
now I understand,
Yeah.
because now I've been in that situation.
Yes,
I've
that's
walked in
right.
that person's shoes.
But you
the
know,
real challenge equal real emotions, you know.
and real emotions leads to real relations.
Right.
And but it may be surprising, but atheists play this game too,
Right.
and they are attracted to ask questions. We've got several examples for this from our, not from directly, but from our friends that played.
Right. As you say, as a game master, you should make decisions, give answers, resolve problems, modify challenges and narratives so that even a seemingly failed journey will leave your team eagerly awaiting the next opportunity to meet the Holy Family. And that's our greatest wish for you. You also have this introduction, a prologue by the Archangel Raphael.
Our patron.
Okay.
Yes.
And during the journey, you will have many opportunities to challenge yourself. And then you go on and say, you can end your journey at any time or rest and come back when you're ready.
Yeah.
So this is a game that you could play for a period of time and then decide to put it down and then pick it up at a
Yes.
later date.
It was
Okay.
designed like this to allow. You know, we all live in a very fast world with a lot of responsibilities. We know this
well, yes.
very well.
Right,
yeah,
right.
3 kids and more programs and that we undertake. leaves us with a little time.
Right. So if you do have that big amount of time, you can continue to play until it works
Of course.
itself out.
Yeah.
But otherwise, you don't have to worry and say, "Well, gee, I don't have all day to play this wonderful game. It's a great game, but who's got the time?" Right.
You know, this game is about investing in your family, investing into
I see,
relations,
okay.
etc. So, uh,
So maybe you got to make some choices over what's more important too.
yeah,
Yes, that's
is,
right.
is spending time doing this rather than watching the football game or
Yeah.
something or
perhaps
some TV
play.
show or something, right?
Yes,
Playing
that's
our
right.
game.
Or on a computer by themselves,
course.
right? Yeah,
Yeah,
or
that's right.
yourselves doing it.
And it really takes about, for example, 2 or 3 hours per 2 or 3 weeks.
Right,
It's
okay.
really enough to build bonds within family.
You say explore all the different paths and adventures ahead of you. Choices that may seem best at the beginning will not always turn out that way, and sometimes difficult ones can be the most rewarding. Now, if I played the game once, would I now have the key to all the right decisions?
Absolutely not.
Not from the
Okay.
very beginning. Yeah, no. There are, of course, there are decisions at the very beginning of every scenario, but then you will face another forks, another decision makings. So, of course, after I think half of a year playing every weekend for 2 or 3 hours, you may know every path, but who has such a time?
To do that,
Yeah.
right.
And we really are eager to write the next book of adventures.
Okay.
So having this game, it just takes to buy another, just a book of
Right.
adventure, and you will have not 8 scenarios, but for example 20.
Okay.
It may be, it differs more because when you encounter scenario, for example, Balsamon Barek Bal, at the very beginning of the journey, some options may be not available to you.
Okay.
But if you travel the next time and you encounter Balsamon Barek Bal as a 4th scenario,
I see, okay.
they may be active.
It might be somewhat different. Well, let me ask you, now the book, this originally was created in Poland. It's been selling in Poland. You're rolling it out in the United States as well in English edition, which is available through Amazon, Amazon.com. Now, what would you say was the greatest challenge to you putting this game together?
The greatest challenge was from the very beginning, it was to define what form it should be. Because it was not decided from the very beginning it should be a game.
Okay.
We thought about maybe some kind of lecturing through workshops for parents.
Oh, really?
will
Okay,
be good
you were
enough.
actually thinking about that.
You know, I'm the business trainer for the last 15 years.
Right.
But, you know, okay, some parents will come, it will not spread out, and it will be just for them. It will not build bonds within their family. Okay, maybe films.
Right.
There are several magnificent films for our family. A marvelous film is Ben-Hur. The old one.
With Charlton Heston.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Not the silent one, but the one that was made in the 50s. Right?
yeah,
Right,
that's
yeah,
right,
right.
definitely. It's great, and it was some kind of inspiration from this film that helped us with this
I can see that.
book, because you know there is a fictional character of Ben-Hur,
Right.
and he has adventures. He's on the journey of its life,
Right.
but on this journey he meets Jesus several times.
Right.
You don't meet Jesus on this journey, but you will meet very characters that you may recognize or not from the Bible.
Okay.
Will not say more, but it's really creatively shown from different perspectives.
Right.
But okay, the film may be great, but it's more like a passive. There is no interaction between family. So maybe a book. But okay, you can read a book to your family, but there is no interaction, or it's not so strong.
Right.
So that's why you need a special book. And
Right.
it's
And that
written.
combines both and gives you that interactive. Just before we go, What would you say to parents who are afraid that it's a little babyish or a little geekish, or my family's, they're not going to be interested?
You should simply start to play, because they will come.
They will come around.
Yes,
And they will come to
yes.
you.
Okay. Okay, well, we're all on the road to Bethlehem, hopefully in our own way, certainly as we live our life and follow our spirituality as Catholics here on EWTN. Well, we thank you so much, Jacek and Eva Malkowski, for coming, and let alone creating a game on the road to Bethlehem, a tabletop game available at Amazon.com. You can check that out. And thank you so much for being here, and thank you for joining us on the
Thank you.
special EWTN Bookmark. We'll see you next time.